What is involved in owning a horse? A sense of humor in the face of tragedies, and a realistic perception of what an animal is in the world. There are a lot of great horses in the world, and not very many people that know what they are getting into when they get a horse. There are also a lot of problem horses in the world and not a lot of people that know what they are getting into when they get a horse. Friends with horses can be a great support system. Just don't buy a horse from them if you want to keep them as friends, or sell them one either. Look, here's the real skinny. In over 90% of cases, a person should not buy a horse. Most animals languish in stalls, dirt enclosures, or pastures, and never get ridden after the first couple of months or so. If they are lucky, they will become big pets. Most just languish. A horse can be really expensive. You won't likely know if yours is expensive until you own it. Some horses will get colic by looking at a bag of grain, and some will eat moldy hay and be fine. Vets are expensive and some will try to put you on their list of easy money. Others will give mouth to mouth to a dead goat and not send a bill. If you buy the wrong horse, get rid of it. Just like getting the wrong dog, there is no sin in admitting you made a mistake. Don't ever fall in love with an animal until they prove to be worth the effort. There is nothing more miserable than spending a lifetime trying to justify keeping an animal that makes you miserable. So the bare minimum of what you need now that you've decided to take a leap off a tall cliff: 1. One standard horse. Hopefully an easy keeper. 2. One properly enclosed space, so the horse won't run in traffic. 3. A decent size wallet, for incidentals. 4. Clean water in sufficient quantity. 5. Forage. Preferably fresh grass, but also adequate quality hay, both in appropriate quantities. If you are storing hay, cover it. 6. Veterinary care and a farrier. As time goes on and you pay the bills, you will become motivated to learn some of the things you can do to avoid calling either of these people. 7. Farrier tools and vet supplies. See number 6. 8. Tack appropriate to what you will actually do with the horse. I suggest the crummiest high-quality saddle you can find. Something that has seen a lot of use and has been cared for rather than a cheap, new saddle. Don't spend a lot of money until you know you are going to ride a lot. 9. Some good books. Keep in mind that if two of them disagree, it is just as likely that the truth will be in the middle as that one or the other is right and the other is wrong. Horses are great animals, but they aren't the romantic symbols everyone wants to believe they are. They are flesh and blood with bad digestive systems and teeth. They can follow you around like the most loyal dog or kick the dog shit out of you because they were startled. They can carry you so fast you will begin to believe in Pegasus, but balk at things you can't even see. They are a problem, and a delight. Time commitment is high. She should plan to see her horse at least 4 to 5 times a week, ideally for a couple hours at a time. A horse is a relationship, one that can be extremely fulfilling and beneficial to both the horse and rider. However, horses are very social and engaged animals. They are most depressed when left in a stall or pen all the time and they have no job to do or no person to interact with. If she cannot commit to riding regularly and working on new things, I would not recommend you buy her a horse. It is not fair to the horse to sit idle without attention, love, and work. In terms of financial, you'll want to price out the cost of board, feed if you have to supply it. Many boarding barns handle feed, and regular farrier trimmings and shoes. I seriously recommend boarding for new horse owners as there is a network of more experienced horse people around that you can learn from. These prices are variable depending on where you live, so ask around. Annual vet check could run into the hundreds. You can save some money by learning how to vaccinate yourself, but even then it will still likely be a couple hundred per year just to buy and ship the vaccines. Dental work, sometimes annual or biannual, can also be several $100s. Additionally, you should always have a reserve of at least several $1,000s to pay for any emergency vet bills or expensive medical treatments. Horses aren't expensive all the time, but there will be a time when you will get a large vet bill and you want to be prepared. There are also tack costs. If the horse doesn't come with a fitting saddle, you can plan to spend from $500 to $5,000 on one. Don't skimp either. If the horse is hard to fit, you may find yourself paying a hefty sum for a well-fitting saddle. Granted, many good quality saddles will last decades with proper care, so this can be considered just an upfront cost. Also, you can buy some horses and rescues for cheap, but remember that you likely get what you pay for. The cost of a horse is typically breeding and the training time that has already been put on them. If you are inexperienced with difficult horses, you will end up spending more money on trainers trying to fix problems with that horse. You may also end up with a horse that has hoof soundness problems or other medical issues that you will be chasing forever. And of course, there are the teachers. She should plan to become a competent horsewoman. This means lessons, clinics, travel costs to get to these, books, and more time spent learning and reading. You'll find the cost, both in time and money, are more than you originally expected. I found this out myself, though I'm happy with it because I love my horse and I love how I am growing as a horse person. However, horses are really more of a lifestyle than they are a casual hobby. Personally, I'm not sure people should buy a horse for a teenager. Kids are very easily distracted and go through phases of extreme interest in something for a short period of time, and then they grow bored of it and abandon it. There are plenty of places that will offer lease options where she can enjoy spending more time with horses and caring for and training them, without being obligated to own one. When she's grown up and graduated school, she can decide if she's serious enough to dive into the wonderful world of owning her own. Financial commitment will vary depending on where the horse is kept and what resources are available. First is the purchase price. That can be anywhere from a few $100s for a rescue, be prepared to possibly be taking on problems someone else created, to many thousands of dollars. If your daughter has been taking lessons, she may have already decided on a discipline, otherwise lesson must be factored into the financial commitment, $40 an hour, give or take, several times a week. You should strongly consider hiring a knowledgeable horse person to help finding the right horse. Before purchasing a horse, how to keep the horse must be decided. If you have acreage, do you have fencing and shelter and a place to store tack, supplies and feed? Do you have the build all of those things, because they are a necessity? Do you have room to store hay under cover? A way to haul it? Horse hay costs $4.50 to $8. Per bale here, and you need to figure a half a 50-pound bale a day per horse if they don't have sufficient pasture. If the horse is going to be boarded, what are the costs in your area and what is included? Boarding cost can vary greatly. Pasture board will usually have the lowest price tag. In our area that is about $250 a month, which includes pasture, water and supplemental hay when needed. At that price there are usually no riding facilities, arenas etc. Full stall board with turnout and feed will be the highest, especially if there are arenas and trail access. This runs in the neighborhood of $500 to $600 a month here. It includes hay, water, stall cleaning and handling the horse in and out for turnout each day. Other expenses will be additional in any of the above situations: supplements, grain, hoof care $50 per trim, no shoes every 6 to 8 weeks, shoes are much more, vaccinations and coggins $50 once or twice a year, dental care $120 for basic, $350 for extensive at least once a year. Most boarding facilities will have a handling fee per horse if you cannot be present and handle your horse for each of these things. I'm probably missing things. Horse expenses seem to never end. A nest egg of several $1,000s for emergency vet costs if essential. Horses have a way of hurting themselves and getting sick. Another consideration is tack. Western, English, good tack is expensive but worth it for the well-being of both horse and rider. Expect to spend $1,000 for used and $2,000 and up for new. Again, I recommend getting a knowledgeable person to help with saddle fit. Save yourself time and money and frustration. The correct bit and headstall will run from $80 to a couple hundred. Next, grooming supplies, brushes, hoof picks, combs, bands, mane and tail conditioners, fly spray, in a never-ending stream of $. Don't forget, are you going to transport the horse? truck and trailer, or the cost to hire it done. I'm sure I could add to this list easily.